we developed what some people might call an ego. The ego is critical to our survival. It gave us reliable ways to respond to our relatively stable environment. But today we find we have, in some ways, outgrown these functions. Often our ego functions make it difficult to experience present moment awareness, to recognize our interdependence, to see things as they really are, rather than what our ego has been programmed to understand about the situation. Our ability to remember and learn from the past can lead to rumination and depression. Our ability to imagine and plan the future can lead us to feel overwhelmed, causing anxiety. Today, our cultural blueprints are not always adaptive, yet they unconsciously drive our behavior without us even realizing it. As Einstein recognized, we experience ourselves, our thoughts, and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us, which clearly has resulted in some very, very maladaptive behaviors that humans have demonstrated, as we see in these pictures. So as Einstein says, our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. And as he says, nobody is able to achieve this completely, but the striving for such achievement in itself is part of the liberation and foundation for inner security. So I believe it is our task, as we apply mindfulness to the challenges of the 21st century, that this is what we're talking about. This is really what is key. We talk in the work we do a lot about stress reduction, but often we forget that the key to this is changing the way we look at the way we perceive things, the way we look at the world. So now you may be asking yourself, how does this relate to education? Well, our cultural blueprints or conditioning are adaptive if we're living in a fairly stable world, like the picture I showed you earlier of the hunter-gatherers. Our culture teaches us to automatically interpret situations. It gives us a quick way to respond to danger. For example, if I live in an environment that's full of dangerous dogs, it would make sense to be fearful of dogs, right? That's my toy poodle when she was a puppy, the other one. But when we live in a world where there's all kinds of dogs and some of them are dangerous and some of them aren't dangerous, then we really need to look at things as they are, or be able to look at things as they are and see through our conditioned tendencies. So we need to be able to see that we have a conditioned script about the dog. Now, this is a very simplistic example, but it's one that's easy to see, especially if you've ever had a negative experience with a dog. You may have fears of dogs that you need to notice and recognize in order to spend time with dogs. So today, we need a way to recognize and override this automatic reactivity and be present in the present moment non-judgmentally. And a deep bow to John Kabat-Zinn, who I think may be here. There he is. Because he has been really instrumental in helping us understand this idea that paying attention in a particular way in the present moment and non-judgmentally is really the key to us being able to function more with more effectiveness and to flourish. And another definition that he has brought forward is open-hearted, moment-to-moment, non-judgmental awareness.